Forget the Geneva Convention. Forget the Army Manual. When you were in SOG, the only rule was, if it kills, use it. Here's the list of weapons they used in the Vietnam War. First up, individual rifles and carbines. XM177. This was the quintessential weapon for recon men, favored for its compact size, which allowed rapid deployment from helicopters and easy maneuvering through the dense, tangled jungle undergrowth during firefights. M16A1. While standard issue, SOG operators often taped magazines together for faster reloads, relying on its lightweight frame to unleash overwhelming firepower when breaking contact with superior enemy forces. AK-47, prized for its ruggedness, point men frequently carried this enemy weapon to confuse NVA trackers with its distinct firing sound, buying precious seconds before the enemy realized they were under attack. The next one, M1 Carbine, extremely lightweight and compact, this rifle was the preferred arm for the indigenous Montagnard tribesmen who fought loyally alongside SOG teams, offering manageable recoil for their smaller stature. SKS Carbine. Often scavenged from enemy caches, this rugged semi-automatic was occasionally used by recon teams for its durability in mud and to mask their acoustic signature during deep infiltration missions across the border. M14. Although heavy, this battle rifle was valued early on for its ability to punch 7.62mm rounds through thick jungle trees that deflected lighter bullets, killing enemies hiding behind hard cover. Next on the list is submachine guns. Swedish K. A sterile, non-US weapon provided by the CIA, this submachine gun was ideal for deniable ops and amphibious missions, functioning flawlessly even after being submerged in muddy river water. Sterling L-34A1. With its integral suppressor, this British commando weapon was whisper quiet, making it the primary choice for prisoner snatch missions, where neutralizing sentries instantly, without alerting the main camp, was mandatory. Uzi, compact and reliable, the Uzi offered rapid deployment for close-quarters defense, often carried by vehicle crews or operators needing a high-capacity backup weapon that could spray lead instantaneously. N3 Grease Gun. Though slow-firing, this suppressed .45 caliber beast was prized for its heavy stopping power and manageable recoil, allowing accurate, silent elimination of targets during clandestine night operations. Sten. A vintage, sterile weapon from World War II stockpiles. The suppressed Sten was used when plausible deniability was key, allowing teams to silently remove guards while leaving no American trace behind. Now this is the Madsen M50. Supplied by the CIA to indigenous forces, this Danish submachine gun folded into a tiny package, making it perfect for concealed carry during covert village defense or low-profile recon tasks. MP40. A World War II relic found in French stockpiles, this German submachine gun saw use with SOG's indigenous mercenaries, valued for its controllable automatic fire and mechanical reliability in the damp jungle. MAT 49, a compact French favorite, often converted to fire enemy ammunition. Its folding magazine made it snag-free in heavy brush, ideal for point men navigating the tightest jungle trails. Next, Ingram Mac 10. Dubbed a rim broom, this tiny weapon emptied its magazine in under 2 seconds, providing operators with a wall of lead during desperate close-range contacts where aiming was impossible. Let's move on to machine guns. RPD. The cut-down RPD was the recon team's lifeline, modified by MACV SOG armorers to allow a single operator to rain belt-fed hate on pursuers while maneuvering through the thickest canopy. M60, known as the Pig. This belt-fed beast was usually too heavy for deep recon, but essential for base defense, and helicopter door gunners providing covering fire during hot extractions. Then, Stoner 63, the commando configuration, was the holy grail of SOG firepower, offering a belt-fed light machine gun that was light enough to shoulder fire, yet possessed enough ammo capacity to annihilate ambushes. RPK, scavenged from dead NVA. This reliable LMG gave teams sustained automatic fire that sounded exactly like the enemy's own weapons, causing fatal hesitation among North Vietnamese troops during firefights. Now let's look at sniper rifles. Remington Model 700. A civilian hunting rifle militarized for war, this bolt-action platform delivered surgical precision for SOG snipers tasked with base security, or specific long-range elimination targets from concealed hides. Next, M21. This accurized M14 bridged the gap between sniper and battle rifle, offering the semi-automatic capability needed to engage multiple moving targets rapidly in the unpredictable sightlines of the jungle. Winchester Model 70. Famous for its pre-64 action, this rugged sporting rifle was pressed into service for its unfailing reliability, allowing snipers to deliver single, fatal shots despite the corrosive humidity of Southeast Asia. M40, the Marine Corps standard. This heavy-barreled rifle was a dedicated killing tool, though SAG operators often had to meticulously maintain its wood stock against the swelling caused by the relentless tropical rain. Let's move on to handguns and specialty sidearms. Browning High Power, the unofficial favorite of SAG. This 9mm pistol carried 13 rounds, almost double the standard issue, making it a comforting, high-capacity backup when primary weapons ran dry in a firefight. Now this is the Mark 22 Mod 0 Hush Puppy. Purpose-built for stealth, this modified pistol featured a slide lock to eliminate mechanical noise, allowing SEALs and SAG to neutralize sentry dogs and guard geese instantly without alerting the compound. High-standard HDM. A legacy weapon from the OSS days, this integral suppressor pistol remained in the SAG arsenal for one purpose: the silent, close-range elimination of enemy officers during high-risk snatch missions. Wellrod. Looking more like a bicycle pump than a gun, this British bolt-action pistol was the quietest weapon in the inventory, used for the intimate and psychological removal of high-value targets. MBA Gyrojet. A silent, rocket-firing oddity tested by SAG. It launched 13mm projectiles that accelerated after leaving the barrel, offering a futuristic but ultimately unreliable solution for silent jungle engagements. Baby Browning, an absolute last resort. This palm-sized pistol was easily concealed in a boot or pocket, intended to give a captured operator one final, desperate chance to escape execution or torture. Next on the list is shotguns. Ithaca 37. Favored for its slam fire capability, this shotgun, often fitted with a duckbill spreader, allowed pointmen to sweep a horizontal wall of buckshot across the trail to instantly shred ambushes. Remington 870. A rugged powerhouse used for camp defense and point duty, this shotgun delivered massive kinetic energy at close range, physically knocking back attackers in the claustrophobic confines of the jungle. Continuing with grenade launchers and rockets. M79. Recon men often sawed the stock and barrel off this blooper to create a large pistol, giving them a pocket-sized artillery piece to break up enemy formations during a running retreat. Up next, China Lake Grenade Launcher, an experimental pump-action marvel carried by SEALs. This heavy weapon allowed a grenadier to pump out 3 explosive rounds in rapid succession, overwhelming enemy bunkers before they could return fire. XM148. This experimental predecessor to the M203 proved fragile in the field, but it was the first to give riflemen immediate explosive capability without needing to switch to a separate weapon system. M72 Law. Lightweight and collapsible. This disposable rocket was often carried by every team member to initiate ambushes against trucks or to blast open reinforced bunkers during a raid. RPG-7, captured in large numbers, SAG teams turned this iconic Soviet weapon against its makers, using its devastating warhead to destroy supply trucks and inflict psychological terror on NVA forces. Continuing with hand grenades and mines. Phi-40. The size of a golf ball, these mini-frags allowed operators to carry 24 at a time, creating a continuous wall of shrapnel behind them while escaping superior enemy numbers. Now this is the M18A1 Claymore, the primary defense for any remain overnight site. These mines were often daisy-chained together to mechanically ambush trackers or instantly vaporize an entire wave of attacking infantry. M14 Toe Popper. This vicious, non-lethal mine was deployed on back trails to maim pursuers, demoralizing the enemy and forcing them to slow down significantly to carry their screaming, wounded comrades. M16 Bounding Mine. Known as the Bouncing Betty, this terrifying device launched into the air before detonating at waist height, serving as a lethal area denial weapon to cover a team's extraction zone. XM27 Gravel Mine. Airdropped in the thousands, These camouflaged, button-sized mines acted as an early warning system, detonating underfoot to alert SOG teams that enemy trackers were closing in on their position. White phosphorus, Willie Pete, was the ultimate tool for breaking contact, creating an instant, burning smokescreen that seared flesh and terrified the enemy, buying the team vital moments to escape. M14 TH3 Thermite. Burning at 4000 degrees, this grenade was used during sabotage missions to silently fuse the breeches of enemy artillery pieces or melt classified gear to prevent capture. Next on the list is Demolitions and Sabotage. C4 plastic explosive, stable yet devastating. C4 was the universal key for SOG demolitionists, used to drop bridges, destroy caches, or instantly blow down massive trees to create a landing zone for helicopters. Project Eldest Son ammunition. A masterstroke of psychological warfare, SOG planted these booby-trapped rounds in enemy caches, causing AK-47s to explode in the hands of NVA soldiers and destroying their trust in Chinese ammunition. Magnetic limpet mines, carried by SOG combat swimmers into Haiphong Harbor. These magnetic charges utilized time delay fuses to sink North Vietnamese supply ships, long after the divers had slipped away into the darkness. Time pencils. Relying on a vial of acid to eat through a wire, these chemical delays allowed saboteurs to rig an explosion and be miles away before the target went up in flames. Up next, M142 multi-purpose firing device. This multi-purpose firing device allowed creative operators to rig complex booby traps using pressure, tension, or release triggers, turning the jungle itself into a deadly weapon against the enemy. Nightingale device. This deception tool simulated the sounds of a firefight with pyrotechnics, tricking enemy commanders into maneuvering their troops toward an empty location while the real SOG team slipped away. Next up, edged and primitive weapons. SOG Recon Knife. Designed by Ben Baker specifically for SOG, this blackened SK5 steel blade was both a lethal combat weapon and the supreme survival tool, serving as a distinct status symbol for the elite. Next, SOG Bolo. With its forward-weighted blade, the Bolo was the team's heavy machinery, essential for silently chopping through bamboo to clear patrol paths or hacking out a hasty landing zone for extraction. Now this is the Randall-made knife. These expensive private purchase knives were legendary for their durability, often carried by team leaders who trusted the hand-forged steel to hold a razor edge through the worst conditions imaginable. Then, Gerber Mark II, featuring a cat's tongue non-slip grip. This double-edged dagger was designed purely for fighting, making it the preferred choice for silent sentry removal during terrifying night infiltrations. Then, Montagnard crossbow. Wielded by indigenous scouts, this primitive weapon offered absolute silence that no firearm could match, striking fear into enemies who saw their comrades drop dead with an arrow in their chest. Ending with psychological and covert gear. Barefoot boot. To defeat expert NVA trackers, SOG wore these bizarre soles that stamped a bare footprint into the mud, disguising a heavily armed recon team as harmless passing peasants. Bird call sensors. Disguised as plants or wood, these acoustic sensors listened for enemy movement on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, transmitting data to aircraft to direct devastating airstrikes on supply convoys.